Okay? The other source or other part of our belief is the sunnah or the hadith. Okay? The Prophet Muhammad said in the hadith, verily the best speech, the best hadith is the speech of Allah, and the best guidance, the best hadith is the guidance of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Meaning his sunnah. Sunnah means actions, norms, or examples that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam left with us in the hadith. Okay, this is the sunnah. Any actions, norms, or examples that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam left with us in the hadith. Either he did it, he encouraged it, or he approved it verbally, or staying silent. Allah said in the Quran, chapter 33, verse 21, which I put up here earlier. Verily there is for you in the Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam an excellent example for those who hope in the meaning of Allah and the last day, and for those who remember Allah much. So Allah says that in the example of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you have the best example. You have an excellent example for those who hope in Allah, those who remember Allah much, right? Those who believe in Allah. The Prophet Muhammad is the best example, the most excellent example for you, if you have this criterion of believing in Him, trusting in Him, and have hope in Him. Thus, the best example, the best sunnah, the best millah. The word millah means example or way, etc. Is to follow is the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states in the Quran, chapter 4, verse 65. Again, this is another dalil, right? Enforcing or verifying, right, what we're saying about the sunnah and the hadith. Allah states, A'udhu-billahi min shaitanir rajeem. Alhamdulillah, these are the verses, the khutbah yesterday, all these verses, same verses the brother said yesterday. Chapter 4, verse 65, Allah says, A'udhu-billahi min shaitanir rajeem. But no, by your Lord, they will not truly believe until they make you, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the judge concerning all the matters in which they differ in, and then find in themselves their nafs no discomfort from what they have been judged or decreed for them, and they submit to it with a total submission. Now this verse is very important. It's a dalil for a lot of things. And again, I'm going to say it again, but I'm going to just say it paraphrasing. Allah says, no, but nay, by your Lord. So Allah is swearing by Himself. By your Lord, I'm swearing by myself. You do not believe. You do not have faith until hatta. And the word in Arabic means hatta, means until. So he's saying there's a prerequisite of your faith. You do not believe until or unless you make the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam the judge in all of your affairs. You make him the judge. You go to him. You find out what he said with regards to this, with regards to that, and you use that as the criterion. You do not have iman. You do not believe until you do this, right? And then you find within yourself no haraja, which means contentness or harshness, fi anfusihim, in your nafs. So once you have been told about something that the Prophet said this or he said that, then he says that you don't have any haraja, any harshness or any heaviness in your heart or in your soul with regards to it, but you submit to it with a submissive submission. Okay? So meaning that in order for you to believe, like I say, faith without actions is dead. Or also, like I said in the Quran, you do not believe unless you have iman. Iman means some type of action. There is no iman without amal. There is no iman without action. Right? Anybody can say, well, I believe in God. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. But your actions ain't showing that. Right? By the fruits you shall know that every good tree bears good fruit. Every bad tree bears bad fruit. Right? So he says, the criterion of belief, Allah says, you do not believe until you make the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam the judge in all of your affairs. And then when you have been decreed a certain matter, he says, don't do this or don't do this, you do not have within your nafs, right? It didn't say that you say, okay, well, I believe that. Because a lot of people say that in their mouth. Well, I believe that, what you just said. But it says their nafs, within their soul, you don't have any contentness about that. Right? Because a lot of people say out of their mouth, well, I believe that, but really deep down inside, they don't believe. So that's why Allah supposed to say, but yet within their nafs, within themselves, they don't have any contentness, but they submit to it with a submissive submission. They tap out. I submit, I tapped out of it. Right? When Allah says, do something, say, sami'ana wa ata'ana. We hear when we obey. We don't say, well, how come? Well, I feel. We submit to it with a submissive submission. Okay? Continuing. You do not believe unless your natural inclination, your natural instinct is my sunnah. Thus we walk, talk, dress, impress in accordance to the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. To downplay, ridicule, make fun of, or to display dislike for any of the sunnahs or hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is tantamount to kufr, which means disbelief, and will have one out of the realm of Islam. This is our belief, and this is a ruling that is binding with Allah. Okay, so again, to downplay, to ridicule, to make fun, or to display dislike for any of the sunnahs or hadiths. Well, I don't know about that. That's stupid. Well, I don't know why y'all got to do that. Well, I don't know about that. I don't like that. Then that means you don't like what Allah says. And that means if you don't like what Allah says, that means that you disbelieve in what He says. Because anything that Allah loves, you're supposed to love. Anything that He hates, you're supposed to hate. If you're a true servant of God. He's the one who created everything. He knows what's best for us. Right? Just like with Mercedes-Benz, they made a Mercedes car. They say, don't put no 87 in it. Right? So they tell you in the blue book, Mercedes-Benz that built the Mercedes car, they tell you, don't put this 87 in your car. Well, I think I could use 87. But the one that made that car, the one that fashioned that car, the one that manufactured that car, they said, don't do this. You put that 87, those who, they'll start bucking and irking and jerking on you. I know, because I did it one time. Right? So that's just an example of using a car and an 87 gas. So now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, the one who created and fashioned this whole body, said, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. Well, I feel I don't want to do this. So next thing you know, we start blowing pistons and popping gaskets and you start overheating and all this other stuff. Then you wonder why, because you're not following the blueprint, you're not following the book. The book is the one that created you. Right? When He created you, He gave you guidelines. So we follow this. Okay? Continuing. Our manhaj, or our belief in our creed. What is our belief? What is our creed here with Tauheed movement? In striving to be of those saved from the fire, because that's the ultimate goal of everybody, to be saved from the fire. Allah created us here to be tested, right? To go through trials and tribulations, right? And then we stand before Him on the day of judgment, hoping that we're what? Saved from the fire. That's it in a nutshell. We can go into all this other philosophical BS, but in a nutshell, we get all the way down to the nitty-gritty. We're here being tested. Who's going to go with God? Who's going to go with the devil? Who's going to go to Jannah? Who's going to go to paradise? Who's going to go to hell? That's it in a nutshell. You're going to heaven or hell, period. Ain't no in between. Well, you know. So in striving to be of those saved from the fire and of those of the saved sect, we here at Tauheed Movement follow the way and pattern of the Salaf Salihin, which means the righteous predecessors. For this is the correct pattern to follow, and that which is sanctioned by Allah through the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is the following of the first 3 generations. Okay? In which the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, we are told that they are the best generation. The Prophet Muhammad said that the first 3 generations are the best generations. So here at Tauheed Movement, we're trying to follow the way of the Salaf Salihin, the way of the Salaf. Right? So we call ourselves Salaf. Okay? So here at Tauheed Movement, we're trying to follow the way of the Salaf. Right? Which means the righteous predecessors. Which means that we're following the way of the first 3 generations after the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam died. We follow his generation, the generation after that, and the generation after that. We follow those first 3 generations. The Prophet, the Sahabas, the Tabi'een, and Tabi'een. and the followers of the Tabi'een. Okay? We follow their way. We don't deviate from that. You start going after that, then stuff starts getting corrupt, it starts getting diluted, it starts getting, twisted and mixed up. Okay? So we follow the way of the first three generations. For the Prophet Muhammad said, they are the best generation. The way of the Prophet, the way of the Sahabas, the way of the Tabi'een, and the way of the Tabi'een. The Tabi'een means the followers of the Tabi'een. The Tabi'een are the followers of the Sahabas. The Sahabas are the followers of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Thus, we strive to follow their example and not deviate from their pattern. This is the way of the Salaf. So here at Tauheed movement, we follow the way of the Salaf. We try to follow the correct way. We try to go back to the original way. We're not trying to deviate. We're not trying to add. Here in the 21st century, we want to make this how we want to make it. You got to go back to the fundamentals. Sometimes everything gets all the way off course. People start adding stuff and all this other stuff, start putting spins on it, right? Putting cuts on it. Sometimes you're like, hold up, man, let's go back to the foundation, let's go back to the core, let's go back to the beginning. We don't got off track, we don't got, off focus. Let's go back to the fundamentals. So we're going back to the first three generations. He, the Prophet Muhammad said, I admonish you to fear Allah and to listen and to obey, even if a black slave has been appointed as your leader. So this was the Prophet Muhammad, so he's telling his Sahaba, he said, I order you to hear and obey, even if the one who's in control of you or commanding you is a black slave. This is a hadith, so this is also revelation. You might have someone that's a black slave ahead of you. This is what the Prophet said 1,500 years ago. For whoever among you lives after me will see much discord. And the Arabic word is ikhtilaf, means many differences. You'll see much differences, many differences of opinion, much chaos. He said, those who live after me long enough, you'll see many differences, you'll see much discord, you see many differences, much chaos. So hold fast, bite down to my sunnah and the sunnah of the rightly guided caliphs who will come after me, adhere to them and hold fast to them. Beware of bid'ah, innovations, because every bid'ah is a misguidance. So in this hadith, the Prophet Muhammad said that those who live after him live long enough. He said you're going to see many things, right? And brother, you see Muslims doing this, you see Muslims doing this, you see Muslims doing this. We and the sisters, just last night, we seen some videos of Muslims twerking in the masjid. Muslim sisters twerking with niqabs in the masjid. Twerking in the masjid. Dollar bills with men there and everything. In the masjid. So he said you'll see many things. Many Muslims will say different things. Oh, you could do this, but it's okay. But you can smoke weed, but it's okay. Hit the net. But you can do this. You ain't got to do this. You ain't that serious. You ain't got to woo, 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 woo. So many different opinions. Much discord. Much chaos. He says, so hold fast to my sunnah. My sunnah. He's talking about the Prophet Muhammad. Hold fast to what it is that I said. Hold fast to what it is that I'm telling you to do. Hold fast to my opinion. Hold fast to my example that Allah says is the best example. And the example of the rightly guided caliphs. Remember the four caliphs, Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Ali, the Sahabas. Right? Follow their example. Beware of bid'ah. Beware of adding to this deen. Beware of taking away from this deen. Right? For all bid'ah leads to misguidance. Dalala. Dalala is what? In the fire. Okay? So this is our manhaj. Okay? Next page. Also, the Prophet Muhammad said, my ummah will divide into 73 sects, all of them in the fire except one. And that is the Jama'ah. It was said, and who are they, O Messenger of Allah? Who was that Jama'ah? He responded, that which I and my Sahabas are called today. So the Prophet Muhammad, this is another very well-known and a scary hadith. The Prophet Muhammad said that the Muslims would divide into 73 different groups. Everybody claiming to be Muslim. Well, I'm a Muslim, 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 I'm a Muslim. He said there'll be 73 different types of Muslims. All of them claiming to be Muslim, but they'll be in the hellfire. He said except one. So they said, Ya Rasulullah, who are the ones that won't be in the hellfire? He said, those who follow what I and my Sahabas are following today. So if we want to be of those who are the true Muslims, we want to be of those who are saved from the fire. We don't want to be of those who are the other 72 sects of the Muslims that will be in the hellfire. He said we got to follow what the Prophet Muhammad and what the Sahabas followed that day. Right? He didn't say the Muslims in the 21st century, we can follow what they follow in the 21st century. He said those who follow what I and my Sahabas follow upon today. So whatever the deen was at that time, whatever the understanding of the deen was at that time, what they was following at that time, that's what we're supposed to be following today if we want to be of those who are saved from the fire. We can't deviate from that, regardless of what century we live in, regardless of what town we live in, regardless of what society we live in. Okay, they came to the door 2 or 3 times, how about Santa Claus at the front door? Who cares? Oh, Santa Claus? So we just forget everything. Right? Do we add to it? Well, the kids, I think the kids, I celebrated Christmas when I was a little kid, so we shouldn't deprive them of having gifts. They should be able to enjoy that. We deviate. But Allah says we don't do this. So what do you follow? Do you follow what Allah says, or do you follow the norms of society? Do you follow the wide road? He said, wide is the road to destruction, narrow is the path to salvation. Wide means that everybody I can get up in, I can do willy-nilly, I can do this and that. But narrow is the path to salvation. That means you got to walk a stir. You can't do certain things. This is all scripture. Okay? So we follow what Allah says, we follow what the Prophet Muhammad said. So again, he said there'll be 73 different types of Muslims. All of them in the hellfire except those who follow what I and my Sahabas is on. Again, we follow where the Salaf. The righteous predecessors, those that came before us, we follow what they follow. We try to follow their example because why? They were the best example. Also, another hadith, the Prophet Muhammad said, Abu Hurairah reported that the Prophet said, every one of my ummah will enter Jannah. Jannah means paradise. Every one of my ummah will enter Jannah except those who refuse. He was asked, who will refuse? He, the Prophet said, whoever obeys me will enter into the Jannah, will enter into paradise. And whoever disobeys me, refuses me, will enter. Whoever refuses will refuse to enter into the Jannah. Whoever disobeys me, refuses to enter into the Jannah. So he said everybody will enter the Jannah except those who refuse. He said, who are those who refuse? Those who obey me, those who follow me. What I do, my sunnah, they'll be in the Jannah. Those who don't follow me, those who refuse to obey me, they'll be in the hellfire. This is the criterion. How do I be saved from the fire? How do I make it to the Jannah? How do I make it to paradise with all the mansions and all this? Follow the Prophet. You can't say that you believe in God without following his Prophet. He said, I sent a prophet and messenger for every generation to believe in him and to follow him. This is your way. In the time of Jesus, he said, follow me. So you had to follow Jesus. In the time of Moses, Moses said, follow me. So you had to follow Moses. In the time of Abraham, he said, follow me. So you had to follow Abraham. Through every different era, you had to follow the prophet of that era, the prophet of that time to find salvation. Because he sent the prophet for every time and every era to show you how to, walk your way to God. We live in the time of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Yeah, we believe in Jesus. We believe he's coming back. But we live in the time of the Prophet Muhammad. We believe in the time of the Quran. So we follow the Prophet Muhammad, which is a whole other example, a whole other subject, because we believe that when Jesus comes back, he'll come back as a Muslim. And he's going to tell everybody, I didn't tell you to worship me. I didn't tell you to worship my mama. I didn't tell you to call me God. I didn't tell you none of that. And he's going to come back black. That's what we believe, but that's a whole other subject. We're going to have a whole other class on that. Okay? But we believe in Jesus. We just don't believe he's God. We don't believe he's the Son of God and all that other stuff. We believe that he was a messenger, he was a prophet. He was blessed with miracles, just like all other prophets were blessed with miracles, like Moses was blessed with splitting the sea. It says that Enoch, he said he went up into the heavens in a whirlwind of fire. We believe that Elijah, it said his bones raised the dead. So every prophet had different miracles to show that he was a prophet. Prophet Jesus, his miracle was that he was born from a woman without a man. What was more miraculous than that was Adam. Adam didn't have a mother or a father. So if we were to say which birth was more miraculous, it would be Adam. Because Adam didn't have mother or father. But Jesus had a mother. So which is more miraculous? Having a mother or not having a mother or a father? Adam. Right? So Adam was the first one created. So anyway, but we'll get to that another day. Continuing. Thus, in following the way of the Salaf, we strictly follow the pattern and example of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We follow the way of the Sahabas. We follow the way of the Tabi'een and the Taba Tabi'een. We also follow and adhere to the ways of the Khulafa Rashideen, which means the rightly guided Khalifas, Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, and Ali, radiyallahu anhum ajma'in. This is what we do here at Tauheed Movement. This is what we're following. This is what we're going to be advocating. This is what we're going to be sincere about. We ain't playing. We're going to truly try to follow the religion and try to be of those who leave a legacy, those who save ourselves and save our family from the fire, which is coming up next.